Hey guys, I have to tell you, this episode is the bomb right here, okay? Because this episode is about what Couple Connections is all about. It's savoring moments, savoring relationships with coffee lovers around the world, as you've heard, and it's about how coffee has made their lives better, how coffee has that's what it's truly about. So today I have LaNisa Williams, and coffee changed her life. She'll tell you all about it. I'm gonna I'm gonna leave that up to her. But I will say she is a trailblazer. She
Hmm.
is doing it. She's from LA, which I used to live in LA. I'm so happy about that. And I just can't wait to get into it. So, anyway, this episode is incredible. This is about a woman who's trailblazing. She is her business. She's a CEO and founder of Barista Life
Life
LA.
LA. Yeah.
So, hello, my friend. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm feeling great this morning. So yes, I'm good.
Wait. You got your cocoa? I call it cocoa.
I already had like 2 cups of coffee this
Mhm.
morning. I mean I can go grab one real quick. I don't have a problem.
No, this ain't. This type of podcast is not about us drinking coffee and talking about the world. It is about us, about you, and about your coffee experiences. One question I have is, which there's going to be plenty, but
Yeah.
did coffee change your life, or how is it? What do the people say? Did did you find coffee, or did coffee find you?
Um
You know what I mean by
I think
that?
we found I think we found each other. Like it really encompassed like everything that I like to do, and how I express myself. Um, I mean, I kind of fell into the coffee industry because I wasn't like growing up, I wasn't like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna work in coffee. I knew I wanted to own something. I didn't know exactly what, but I knew I wanted to do something big. Like as a kid, I do remember thinking like I want to make sure that I leave an imprint on this world when I leave.
Look at
So
you. At what age was that?
um it had to be like around like junior high. Like yeah, junior high, high school, when I was just kind of like coming out of my shell. I was still in there, but just
Mm-hmm.
coming out of it and just thinking like there's more to life than what I see. But I didn't know how to navigate through my like my surroundings. I didn't know what I'm accustomed to is there was a lot of gangs and my parents, like just all that kind of stuff, but I didn't know how to navigate through how do I get out of this situation and better myself. So it took me a minute to to find all of that.
The journey was long, as you say.
It has been.
Well,
Yes.
to let people know, you're born and bred and raised in LA. You're from South
Yes.
Central. And
Yes.
you've been really open as far as your parents were two felons, and you got into
Yes.
some trouble yourself, and then you found your way.
Hmm.
But tell us, talk us through it. Like what you had some rough times, and then
I
all of a
did.
sudden it was coffee. But what happened?
Yeah. So I mean I could just kind of start from the beginning, but I had moved to the East Coast to get out of a situation that I was in here in LA. And my older sister, got a job working for the government out there, but my nephew wasn't old enough to go to school yet. So she was like, "Hey, come, you can start over. You can help me raise these kids I got." And we'll, try to get she knew I was trying to get out of the life I was living.
Right.
Um, so yeah, so I moved to the East Coast, but like I said, my nephew wasn't old enough to go to school yet. So for the first, I think it was like first 6 to 9 months, I basically um babysat him, all day, every day. I mean, the weekends I had off, of course, my sister was home, but it was like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I was just a caretaker, and it taught me a lot of patience. I mean, I definitely wasn't expecting all that, but like I learned how to cook a few meals to survive. um, but it allowed me to build a bond with my niece and nephew, and um, it was just it was a great experience. But I once he had his birthday, I ended up going on Craigslist, and I was looking for a job, and I saw that Starbucks was hiring. And I mean, as you know, back then Starbucks was paying decent wages. They were taking care of their people. I mean, they still do, but like even back then it was just like, oh, they paid this much, like, oh, I'm up.
When was
So
this? Like, what year was this?
2005.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, right. Back in the day.
But yeah, and I applied at Starbucks, and I went in for the interview, and first thing I could say is like I never had a black boss, or like I never saw so many black people in suits when I moved to the East Coast. Like I lived in Maryland, but I worked in DC, and I had never seen that. So that right there let me know that there's possibilities, like just
Mm.
by seeing that daily. Um, so yeah, I started working at Starbucks, and I came in as a shift lead and worked my way up. But I didn't think like, oh, this is what I'm going to be doing. I fell in love with the aspect of like the customer service, and the fact that people would stand in line for a cup of coffee, and or they would wait, you know, of course stand in line, but wait for their coffee to be made, and then just have full-blown conversations with me about their kids, their wives, their husbands, their job, their aunt. Like they would just open up, and it was all because of a espresso shot and some steamed milk. And I was like, man, there's something to this. Like people really, this is like, this kicks off their day. And I did really enjoyed putting smiles on people's faces. Like just, you know, you're taking this latte, and this is going to make your whole morning. um and I enjoyed that. I really just, yeah, I love serving, I really do. um
That's something special. The
and
coffee community, man. That coffee scene is like,
yeah,
it's to the core.
yeah,
It's
it
real.
is. It is. People really love their jobs, and they really love what they do. And I just try to absorb as much information I could. Starbucks does not, well, at the time, they didn't do no extensive like coffee training or anything like that. Like they weren't doing any alternate brewing methods such as a V60, or none of that stuff was in play besides a French press. That was the only other way I knew besides drip coffee to make coffee was with the French press. But yeah, I worked for Starbucks for about 6 years. I did 2.5 years out on the East Coast, and then I came back to LA because my sister had got promoted at her job. She moved to Georgia. I was stuck out there by myself, and I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work for me by myself. Nah. It was cool. I hung for a year, and I made it work. But after that, I was like, nah, I need to come home. So I came back. I worked at a couple different Starbucks here in Los Angeles and East LA. Um, and then I got to a shop that was in Santa Clarita. And we just, you know, I got into it with a customer, and that led me to no longer have my job.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, girl,
It
go
was
home. Tell it. What happened?
I mean, like there was no support there. There was a customer that came in. He would call me outside my name, or I don't want the black
Oh,
girl making drink, or and this was in Canyon Country, so the majority of people who walked in were white. There weren't any black people really over there,
yes.
and you know, we take matters into our own hands after we're done, and I, you know, did what I had to do. Um, and
I mean,
then
seriously though. I don't even know why I'm surprised in this day and age. Even this day and age, it's like,
yeah, yeah,
still
there's
going
yeah,
on.
yeah, man. Um, so yeah, I got let go from there, and then I started working at another company. I ended up catching a case um, for theft, robbery, and embezzlement, and I went to jail, and I got felonies off that. I only for that one I did, but I got 6 months, but I only did about 2.5 weeks. I ended up getting sick because first time like in jail, and you gotta, it just wasn't right for me. I ended up they ended up like letting me out early, but I still was on probation for 3 years, and I had to do community service for 3 months straight, if I'm not mistaken. It was like 90 days of community service. I couldn't miss any days or anything like that. And then I was able to do my, go back into the society, I guess, and go get a job. And
Wait. Let me stop you for a second, because you left California to escape all the riffraff in South Central. You go to the East Coast, you're doing well, what have you, and you're like, okay, it's time to go. Let me go back home.
Yeah.
And then this is when it's really it's popping. It's like, okay, now you got into some trouble.
Yes.
And talk to me.
Yeah. I just, I was trying to basically, I mean, I was doing it to support my family.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, I mean, like, I was helping out my mom. I had a partner at the time. She had a kid, and it was just trying to make ends meet. And I'm not saying it was the right thing for me to do or anything like that, but I did what I had to do, and I was still in the streets. I was still gangbanging. I was still hanging out with the crowd that I definitely should have not been. But yeah, and then I caught a case, went to jail. I was trying to my mom was like, come back home, we'll try to fix, my mom held me down the entire time, and like, let's try to help. And she was trying to guide me, and we think we know everything when we're young, and we don't we don't need our parents to tell us what to do. So
Ooh, don't I know it.
but I went back and I got a job. I worked in the Glendale Galleria.
Yes.
I worked for the Lego company. I managed the store that's in there, and I was I was somewhat on the right path, I'm gonna say. And then but this is how I got reintroduced into coffee again. My friend worked at the Pete's Coffee that was downstairs, right underneath my shop, and I would go down there not to necessarily drink coffee, but they had a hibiscus like lemonade tea that was amazing. So I would go over there, talk, and she was just like, just come down here, you can work. I know you have coffee experience, like I need you. And I was like, we need another Black person. I'm just like, yeah, nah, like
Another Black person.
I was just like, nah, bro. Like, I was cool with, like, I worked at the Lego store. Like, all I did was direct parents on which toys to buy their kids. Like, and I got the opportunity to build all those sets that are in the display. Like, I worked my way from just, unboxing in the back to being the manager. So it was like, I'm not saying it was a cakewalk, because of course there's paperwork, but it was like one of the easiest jobs I've ever had, and it was really rewarding. I was again in a service position. I was again putting smiles on people's faces, and I enjoyed that.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
and let me say, when I brought up, you went from LA, and you came back, and no, I'm not judging, because I want you to know that it's just, I mean, you've been through some stuff, and it's like,
yeah,
wow, from what you have done, where you were before and where
yeah.
you are now. When I talk about you or talk to you or where I'm talking to you right now, I'm just inspired. I'm in awe,
Thank,
seriously. Because I mean,
thank,
nobody knows what somebody is going through unless they are that person. But all I
right.
know is that's what's just tough. It had to be.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then, I
It
mean,
was.
but look at you now. We'll get into what she's doing now. Trust me, we'll get into all of that. But we got to get the backstory and all,
Yes.
just the coffee love and
Yeah.
coffee experiences. So
Yeah.
I want to go back to something.
Okay.
You just put out your website, right? Did you
Yeah,
just put
I
out
do.
your website?
No, it's been out for, I don't know, we on like 2-3 years now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I went to Instagram, then I saw your website. I saw some it was like a LinkedIn or not LinkedIn, but like a podcast or something. That's what I saw
Oh
initially.
yeah.
But then when
Yeah,
I went
that's
back,
Yeah, and then you saw my website. Yeah, we just changed
Yeah.
it because oh, it's been up there as like, and then I am working on revamping my website, but it's active, it's up there.
Mhm.
So yeah.
But what I saw, it just made me warm inside. I'm not gonna lie, because I read when you said you were 7 years old about your mom and the coffee.
Yeah.
You said the coffee and the cream, and then the
Hmm.
smell would permeate through your cramped apartment.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel? Because you noticed your mom, she was happy when she was drinking her coffee. How did that
Yes.
make you feel? You know, like
I mean,
you.
I enjoyed it. That's the few times that I did see my mom like in the most joyous state. Like my mom worked 3 jobs. I have 5 sisters. Like she
Okay.
did everything she could to take care of us. We didn't live in the best of conditions. We, 1 bedroom, all of us in there. We've lived in the cars and all that. But like that was her treat for herself. Like out of everything, she's not buying herself sweets, candy. She's not doing anything extra, but making sure that we're taken care of. But that was her like safe haven. Like that was her little thing. That was what put a smile on her face.
Yeah.
I would, at church they would give out donuts and stuff like that. Of course I would always ask my mom if I could have some of her coffee. And she'd be like, this is mine. Like, I can't have nothing to myself.
Right.
But she would save me some,
Oh,
and that was our thing. And today it still is. Like, I dropped a video not too long ago of my mom coming over for the holidays, and she was like, let me whip you up some coffee like how I do it at my house.
wait a
And
minute,
it's like
Cadillac coffee.
it, yeah.
Yes. You guys, if you go to her website, Barista Life LA,
Yeah.
and you see her mom, she's up there brewing some coffee. She's like, let me show you Cadillac style.
Yeah, that's hers. And I'd be like, find it like it's just ironic. Like me and my mom I'm really like I watched my mom more than any of my sisters growing up, and like how she moved, her mannerism, how she carried herself. And I just like I see that like when we hang out or when like such as that video, like that's the charismatic. That's where I get it from. Like that's why. But yeah, it's great. I definitely enjoy that relationship, the coffee relationship that me and my mom have, and she just supports me. She's like, "You really found your niche, and this is it."
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm forever grateful for her. I
Girl,
am.
when I came back from LA, I
Hmm.
came back to take care of my dad. I don't know, it was 2015 or something like that. And I stayed with he and my brother for about 3 years before I met my wife. And those moments, we would wake up before the sun would rise,
Yeah.
and it would just be the two of us, and we would open up the blinds, and we
Hmm.
would wait until the sun would rise. And in between all of that, we would just be talking,
Yeah.
and I learned so much about my dad and how, when he was growing up, his sisters, what he would do. That was some of the most precious time, right?
Yeah.
That just seeps in your core, and that's why I started
Yeah.
Better with a Cup of Coffee, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. But man,
Right.
that's so smooth. It's just like, oh, that's
Yeah.
that's that's really really touching. And
Yeah.
like, so talking to you about where you are now.
Uh
Now
huh.
you started Barista Life LA,
Uh huh.
but and then you also within that you started, was it Black and Brew?
Yes.
And that's about a lot of African American um,
Coffee professionals. I don't
coffee
want to.
professionals.
I really like. I know that we're baristas, and that's the technical term for what we do in coffee. But at the end of the day, like I feel everyone who's in coffee, you're a professional. And that I try to address like as many people as possible. Like if they're black, I feel like you're a black coffee professional. You're not just a barista because there's more to just being someone who slangs coffee behind the bar. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
bringing a experience to people. This is a
Mm-hmm.
professional industry, and we're mastering it.
Yes, you are. Because you say you're
Yeah.
a master. What is your coffee master?
Yeah,
You've
I
been
did
you've
the
been in
whole
the
coffee.
business. Did you?
Yeah, I did the whole coffee master. I mean, Starbucks offers that Pete's Coffee after I I finally went back into coffee at Pete's. I became the district trainer for all of Los Angeles. So I had 13 stores underneath my belt that I was responsible for their training, any new drinks that came out. But yeah,
God,
I
where were
really
you
do.
when I was there? Oh my God, where were you when I was there? For real.
Yeah, I really enjoy what I do. I just really do feel like this is my purpose. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is it. This is I love it. I had like not I guess I had like an epiphany. Like the last time I went to jail was for a whole year, and in that time it was me again running from a situation that I was in. It was a relationship wise, and it was just a toxic relationship, and I ended up doing some things that I definitely shouldn't have done, but did. And then it was like a breath of fresh air when I went to jail, honestly, because of the situation that I was in. I was like, I would rather be sitting in prison than have to deal with this right here. Inside there, I was able to have a counselor and someone who met with me once a week and talked to me. And it was just being able to let go of certain things that happened to me as a kid and the situations that we were in, and being in that relationship and all that, being able to let that stuff go allowed me to really see like, this is where you're good at. This is where you excel. This is where you're the most impactful, so let's go with this. And 3 days before I was being released, I called my old boss and I was like, yo, I'm about to be back in town. If I could get my job back, that'd be amazing. And they're like, yeah. I got out on November 13th and 2015. By Wednesday, I was in the shop on Monday. On Wednesday, I was working.
Where
And
was
that for
this?
me was just,
Pete's?
this
Pete's?
was peak. Yeah. That was a sign for me. Like, this is where you need to be, LaNisa. Like, you doing your thing. It's keeping you off the streets. Like, because if I didn't have that job to go back to, like, I honestly don't know what I would be doing right now. Because the judge told me if I see you again, I'm giving you 5 to 10, and I don't
Good
have five.
God.
Yeah, I don't have 5 to 10 just to be, kicking off like it's nothing. Like I'm not giving no free time away. You're not about to. I couldn't. So yeah,
You
I figured like,
dedicated every day after that
yeah, I did.
to all
It's
things
just
coffee.
stuff. I just wanted to better myself. I wanted more. I see my sisters excelling. They've been on TV shows. My sisters they're from where we come from. It blow
Yeah. Yeah. I get you, girl. For real. I mean, I feel that. Talk about I'm curious. You said something. What the heck do you what is a coffee master? I mean,
it's
I know we're just going from this emotional thing, but
no,
before
it's
I
cool.
forget, because I'm gonna tell you right now, people, I know we're all emotional, this is touching, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I'll forget in a minute, so I gotta go back. What is that?
So it's just someone who's mastered the skills of like being able to cup coffee properly and be able to like identify coffee flavors. You know how to brew coffee in multiple different ways. Um, yeah, it's just, I mean, that's the whole scope of it. Like they give you a master class where you're able to train people. You're able to tell about a product. It's just like it encompasses like a whole test on everything. But that's there. Like that was Pete's, and that was Starbucks like coffee master program. Now we have like the SCA, which is a Special Coffee Association,
Yes.
that um that sets the standards of who and what is a coffee master, or someone who is a professional, coffee person. Um, but I've taken majority of all those classes. My next thing is to be a Q grader. I really, there's not enough Black women in this world that are Q graders, and I want to be one of them. I
Mm-hmm.
really do.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy roasting. I enjoy cupping coffee. I enjoy everything about it. There's so much possibilities with a cup of coffee or with a cherry seed that blows my mind.
I know. It
Yeah,
blows my mind the complexities of coffee. A lot of people don't
yeah,
realize how complex coffee is, and they look at wine, they look at especially wine, but then they
yeah.
look at beer, and then they think, oh, wine and beer, it's so complex with the chemical makeup of that. But
Right.
coffee
Yeah,
blows them out the water, to be honest with you.
it
And
does.
I just scratched the surface with a class. I think it was episode 3 of my podcast.
Okay.
I was privileged enough to take a class with a gentleman who used to work for the SCA. Well, he
Okay.
became a manager at a coffee shop in Raleigh, and
Nice.
he's no longer there. But when he was there, it was just two of us, and he took
Nice.
us through. I think it was like a 5-hour class, and we got a chance to do cupping, and
Yeah.
we got a chance to just learn about where coffee really comes from, where it went. It's like this map that the
Yeah.
SCA has, right? You
Yeah.
and it just shows you all these places of where it's traveled and so forth. But he was telling me the complexities of coffee, and I was floored.
Mm-hmm. It
Floored.
is. It definitely is. Like it's, and it's also subjective. Like what you taste, I may not taste. Like,
Right.
and that's what I like about it. Like I don't feel like there's no right or wrong answer because everyone experiences coffee differently. Like if I taste cherries and it takes me back to eating cherry pie when I was 4 years old, but you taste, raspberries from when your mom baked you a raspberry like cupcake, like it's that's just how amazing it is. Like it takes you back to I don't know, I always get taken back to when I was a kid, and I was like, when I taste certain coffee, I was like, dang, this reminds me when I was 6 years old, like waiting for my mom to give me a bite of her apple, like things like that. Yeah.
Where has coffee taken you? Now I know this last trip. We'll get into this last trip, but before that, I remember you had said on your Instagram pages, like you had put it out there in the universe, and it was a couple of years ago or something, and you
I
said that
did.
from that point you had met so many people in the industry, and
Yeah.
you had learned a lot. Where'd you go? And what cultures did you learn from, and all of that?
um so I mean, I've never really, then I wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm about to be like international or anything like that. I just wanted to get about my city and meet people who were have the same passions that I do. And during the pandemic, and when I launched Black and Brew, that allowed me to connect with people in Africa, Cape Cod, like just everywhere, Tennessee. Shout out to my guys, Bartholomew and Coffee Black. Like it just like I was connected with people with like minded, and I felt seen, heard, and I felt in a space that like, this is where I belong. I mean, I've traveled quite a bit in the last few years. I hit quite a bit of the states here. I got to I got to go to Canada. Um, and I didn't think, like, I had applied for my passport before and they had denied me.
Mm.
And they're like, well, you got 4 felonies and a strike on your joint. Like, you're not
Uh,
going nowhere. Um, and
they
then
said nope.
yeah, they just like I couldn't go anywhere, and so then I had a meeting with the judge, and I just told him like, look, I'm here to change my life. I have a business now and everything, and he was like, all right, I'll let you know in a couple weeks how I feel about it, and then they sent me a letter saying that they like they dropped everything that's on my record.
What?
So yeah,
Are you gonna make
that's
me
what I'm
cry up in
saying. I
this
know that's
place?
why. Yeah, that's why I know this is where I need to be, because things like that don't happen. Like just and I now I have a passport. I just came back from an amazing trip in Guatemala, but I was able to even going to Canada and and being a part of the AeroPress World Champion, like these are things that I only dreamt about. Like, and I only wanted to be there because I didn't never see anybody in these pictures that looked like me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why
Yes.
is that? Like, why? Where is the disconnection? Or like, is it? I just feel like for me to get to where I am, I had to see somebody to look that looked like me. And once I saw somebody that did, I know there's endless possibilities. And then I
Yeah.
just was like, if it only takes for somebody to see one person, let me be that person that
Mm-hmm.
they see and give them the opportunities to be better than me.
Mm.
Yeah. Because sometimes that's all you need, just somebody just be like, you got this. And I want to be the person that I would have wanted to look up to when I was coming up. I just want to be that example.
Yeah. And you just spoke it. I was going to ask you, what advice would you would give to our younger generation, um, who the advice of choices, of
Mm-hmm.
giving some younger generation advice on the choices that could help them to thrive, not just survive, but thrive in the future. What would you say? That just what you said, or
Yeah, I mean, you won't know. Like, I mean, I don't want to sound like cliche with all these like quotes, but like, you won't know how successful you're going to be unless you do anything. And if you don't see nobody doing it, and you have it in your head that you want to do it, ideas don't just come just because. They come so they can get played out. So play out what you believe in, what you dream, because that's literally everything that I'm doing is something I honestly just prayed and was like, I'm gonna do this some way, somehow. I'm gonna make it happen, and that's like my slogan. It's like I'm gonna make it happen. I don't have no other choice. I've came from the bottom. I'm not damn sure I ain't going back.
no, no, damn it, no. I
No.
excuse me. I wish I would have met you before my wife and I took this a road trip. We took a 19-day road trip last summer,
Nice.
and I was trying to. A girl, I love to drive. I'll drive anywhere. You ask anybody. My mom was praying. Girl, let me tell you something. When I was over in California, because she knew I was crazy. She called me a wild woman a long time ago. She would be in the bathroom. She's like, whenever we would talk, she said, I got to go. I got to go because I got to go pray for you. Be going, I go everywhere. So, and we stopped at all of these places. I mean, so many states, driving from North Carolina to California, back to Colorado, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But we stopped in a lot of coffee shops. And my point into bringing you up is that I wish I would have known the black baristas, the black coffee owners on that road trip. I guess I'm just going to have to take another road trip.
That sounds like a great plan.
But I'm going to have to talk to you about who I
Oh
should
yeah.
go see,
Oh
because
yeah.
I
I
know
got
that there are tons.
There are, and I'm just every time I scroll through my Instagram, I see my people's winning. Like I really do, and I'm like, they're getting their flowers. People are recognizing this work that they're doing, and I'm filled with joy. Like I'm glad that not just me out here. I'm glad there's a lot of people. I'm glad that we out here trying to reclaim our heritage and reclaim where we from. Like it
Mm.
it it's encouraging. I tell all my friends like y'all be inspiring me. Like I see y'all putting in this work. I mean, like I know I got a lot going on. I know I do, but I'd be like, it makes me want to do more and get out there and just connect with people and let them know that they're seen and heard and do projects so I can uplift them. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
You speaking uplifting. See what you are. You're a beacon. You're a beacon of light and love. That's what it is. I'm just gonna keep it real. I mean, it is. It is what it is. So when you were offered the opportunity to go fly all the way to Guatemala, let me say that right, by Chica Beans, is
She
that
could be far. Yeah.
Chica Bean Farms? And girl, when I saw your Instagram, you were just the happiest thing. You were just like, I prayed about it,
I
and
did.
how did they reach, what they say, and they wanted you to come down and do what?
So the owner, Josue, he owns Chica Bean Coffee and Chica Bean Cafe in Guatemala. But he had followed me on Instagram. Like that's literally what it like this is what he told me. He's like, I was following you on Instagram and I enjoyed your content and I saw what you were doing, that you offer classes and that you're trying to just, better and help out the coffee community. And I had the opportunity last year for Coffee Fest LA to be the judge for the latte art throwdown and for the cold brew competition. And he just he just watched me, I guess, not like stalking, but like he just saw me. That's what he told me. He's like, I saw you, but every time I wanted to speak to you, you had a crowd of people, you were talking. So he was like, I circled around like a shark. And then I was walking, I don't know, I was walking somewhere and he found me and he was like, can I speak to you? And I was like, yeah. He brought me over to his booth and he just basically like broke it down on what he was doing, his coffee company, who they've partnered with and stuff like that. He gave me a hat, a t-shirt. And then basically at the end of the conversation, he was like, would you be willing to come to Guatemala and train, the community that we're in? I instantly started crying, like, because
Oh, wow.
it's been one of my dreams, literally, like since I've been on this specialty coffee for the last like 7-8 years in specialty coffee. Like I see so many people going to origins trips and I'm just like, dang, like how come I can't? I mean, like I don't know
Yes.
I don't know if they paying for it themselves or how they're getting there, but I was just like, I want to do that. Like if I'm over here preaching all this stuff about all what coffee is and yada yada yada, I just didn't feel. I mean, I knew I was doing my thing, but I wanted to have that experience of going to an origins country, picking some cherries, depulping, putting it in the wet mill, putting it in the fermentation, watching it dry. I needed to be a part of all that because I also felt like that connected me back to my peoples. Even though I was in Africa, this is the same stuff that happened. This is where Black and brown people live. This magical bush, this tree grows, and I just wanted that connection, and I wanted to see how hard it is to be a producer and understand like these people ain't getting their money. This work
Yes.
that they
I've heard.
doing, we're not paying them, right? This
Mm-hmm.
on a I'm 1,500 or 1,000 feet above sea level, hanging off of a cliff picking cherries. This is what they do, 8 hours a day.
Every
And
day.
we take it like it's we take it for granted, like we just turn on water and water falls out.
Yes, we do. I mean, coffee is
So
precious.
it is, and the way they meticulously like hand pick the ones that shouldn't be in there, the greens, it's just it's just an experience that I wanted. I've always seen it, and when he asked me, I was like, well, when do I sign up? Because I can go pack my bag right
Right
now to
now.
go back.
Right now.
But it was also just another sign for me to continue to do what I'm doing, and that's what I feel like I get all the time. Days that I mean, I'm not saying every day I wake up and it's like boom, 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 boom. Like some days I really don't. I really am like, today ain't really the day for me to go drop a video. I don't want to record nothing, or like I'm not in the mood. But I wake up, I say these affirmations to myself. I say there's people out here who watching your moves.
Mm-hmm.
You're setting an example, and I I just I don't know. I was blown away by the opportunity, and I get these confirmations like, LaNisa, you're still, I tell myself, this is a sign that you doing what you're supposed to. Just everybody don't see the hard work that you do, and I don't expect people to see what I do behind closed doors because I ain't never not working. I let people know that I am never not working. But the hard work that I'm putting in, these are the rewards that I'm getting from it. And all I want to do is continue to do what I'm doing.
That's a
My
test.
friends, all my friends like, how did you make that happen to Guatemala? I said, I don't make nothing happen. I feel like I'm here to do, I'm here to do the Lord's work. And if that means for me to be able to go, and I'm in this coffee industry and I'm doing A, B, C, and D, let me set these foundations so that people can come behind me who have the exact same dreams, or they have the desire to go to an origins country. Like, because I now have that connection that my friends who are here I can suggest, like, y'all need to go ahead and pick this person. I had my turn. Go ahead. Let them go down to the next person after that, because what I bring to the table is different from what this person, and they may have something better. And I'm not saying we better than the other, but they may have some better ideas than I do. Let them implement those. Like, why not? I can't be stingy. I got the fact that I'm still breathing and I'm still on this earth is the ultimate blessing for me, because I could be dead. I could be doing 5 to 10.
Yes, girl.
So I
What
have to. Every day is a blessing. Every day is an opportunity just for me to better myself, like personally and professionally.
when you're working, you're hustling, you're working. What are you talking about? Like what tell the people, because sometimes, and even myself, and not until recently, I'm realizing, hey, you have to do more than what you've done. You got to keep working every day. Tell people, like, when you're working behind the scenes, you're making phone calls, you're making contacts, you just,
Yeah,
constantly honing your
awesome.
craft.
Yeah, I I probably have at least 4 meetings a day, and that's like 6 days out of the week. I truly try to keep Sunday to myself, but like it doesn't always work that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I am booked every day. I'm doing something. I'm not saying I don't do self-care or anything like that, but I know, like, literally, I got off the plane on Sunday, and I had 2 meetings back to back on Monday. I had 2 meetings back to back on Tuesday, 4 meetings yesterday. But these meetings are uh they're all productive. Like, they're all somehow, I don't know where they fit into the whole puzzle, but I know I have these connections. So if I need to pull something out of my bag, I got you. I know who to go to for this. I know how I can do this. I can show up for you here. Like, I enjoy that. Like, I pride myself on being like the coffee plug. Like I tell people this. Like, I sold A, B, and C, and now I sell stuff that's legal. I just switch my product. The hustle is still the same. Like, I'm still out here. I just switched my product. And you can't take that away from me. It ain't illegal. But yeah, I hold meetings all the time. I'm trying to get events. I'm trying to. I mean, I also have a 9 to 5. I work for Oatly. I work for an oat milk company that I gotta do work for that. So all my jobs allow me to be able to sit inside of a cafe every day if I choose to and take my meeting. And that's the life that I'm building, that I foresee for myself, and that I'm building, is like, I want to be able to be in control in where I go, who I help, how I do this. Like, I want to be, they say, like, everybody wants to be a boss, but bosses are the ones who cut checks. I want to be that boss that cuts checks for people, to hey, let me help you fund your passion. Let me help you make your dream come true. Like, I really just, that's what I really want to, like, one of my friends always says, like, you're the Oprah of coffee, because I'm just like, you get an espresso machine, you get an espresso machine, you get a grind. Like, I want to be able to do
Girl, that's your tagline.
that.
Seriously. I'm all about t-shirts. I create t-shirts and sayings and all that. That's your tagline. Keep
Yeah.
it. Trademark that. I trademarked that. Well, since you're hustling, and you've been working this week, I saw that you got a lot going on this February.
It is. It's Black
It's
History Month. Turn it up at least 10 notches. Got to.
tell us what's up. Tell us.
So this month we are off, or Barista Life LA Black and Brew is offering 3 different coffee cuppings, where we're going to be cupping only Black owned coffee companies coffee. Some of my favorite professionals in the game. Um And we're also going to do a Black coffee crawl where we're just going to as many. Honestly, I still need to get the list together. I have the list, but the path of what we're taking is still in the works for that. But I'm trying to hit all the Black owned coffee shops that I can. Like, I feel like everybody, it they know. I mean, they know who I am, and I respect everybody's game, and I just want to uplift them because I think they're making a tremendous impact in the city of LA and in the world as well. And everyone offers something different, and I love it.
So, if people want to get in touch with you and want to take you around the world, want to bring you to some parties, so you
Yep.
can show them how to do what you do,
Yeah.
how do they get in touch with you?
They can email me at baristalifela@gmail.com. That's where I pretty much take all my, my bookings or anything like that goes through there. They can DM me on my Instagram. Also on my website, which is baristalifela.com. Um, there is a section in there to write me a note. So I'll receive those messages. Um, but yeah, just hit me up. I have a Facebook, but like I honestly, Facebook is like the least one that I look at. I also have LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn under LaNisa Williams. Um, but yeah, that's how everyone gets in contact with me. Yeah.
That's the way I did it.
Yeah.
And
Through those
she is
platforms.
responsive,
Yeah.
quick. She may be busy, but she's quick.
Yeah, I have an assistant that's freaking amazing. Like, she came into my life like a year ago, and I can't say nothing but she's a blessing.
Mm, gosh, that's wonderful to hear. Well, look, I can't say enough about you. When I am in LA, I have so many,
Hit
I
me
still
up.
have friends in LA and Long Beach, and I have to hit you up along with all the other black coffee owners because,
We out here.
yeah,
Yep.
God, it's a blessing. I'm so grateful. I really am.
I appreciate it.
Well, I know you're busy, my friend, and you just take care, do your thing, and
Thank
keep
you.
being a beacon of light and love, please.
Yes, I will. I
Okay?
definitely will. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.